GM, everyone. This is Creatress, your host, and you are watching There's Layers to This, a special episode, uh, the Bitcoin conference recap, powered by Stand With Crypto. Um, so we got a really good, amazing, actually, opportunity that this year for 2025 to report live from inside and outside the conference. So if you have been tuning into the show, you might have seen that last week. The conference was 3 days, and we went live about 5 times throughout the week. So if you didn't catch that, those are all still listed. You can go check those out. But this is just like a brief recap of every major thing that we got a chance to do. Not everything. So yeah, grab some tea and settle in. We'll get started here in just a second. I guess we'll get started first with introducing myself. For those of you who are new to the show, I'm Creatress. I am a multidisciplinary artist, and I got introduced to the Web3 space back in 2017 through a meme coin or altcoin now called XRP. That's the ticker. And I bought a little bit. It went down in price. I sold it, and I kind of forgot or put crypto to the side for a bit. And then in 2021, I joined Clubhouse. And Clubhouse was an app where people were talking to each other, a lot like Twitter Spaces these days. And the main topic that we covered ended up being, well, first art and then NFTs, because that's when NFTs really came into, I guess, their critical mass stage. And I don't believe we've actually hit critical mass worldwide. But at that point was when they were very, very interesting to a lot of people. It was the NFT bull run, if you will. And so, yeah, I got a chance to learn all about it, be there at the very beginning when a lot of people were just making their first NFTs for the first time. First NFT collections were birthed around that time too on Clubhouse. If you've heard of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, or the Oni Force, Doodles. I believe Doodles were in Clubhouse actually. Fact check that. But VeeFriends also happened in that era. So that's when I got really convinced that art should go on the blockchain for provenance and for all the other things that come with NFTs. So fast forward to now, my art is on the Bitcoin blockchain as ordinals as well, which are the new kind of wave of NFTs. And if you know a lot about the technology behind them, it seems like ordinals on Bitcoin are kind of the way to go if you want to ensure your art lives on the blockchain forever. And forever is a funny word, but yeah, that's a bit about me. Nowadays, I still create ordinals, I still create NFTs, but the main thing that I'm known for is doing live sculpting and live performances at these Web3 events. So, yes, I got a chance to do over 35 events in Web3, and I got a chance to collaborate with some amazing people in the space, musicians and other visual artists. So I'm very, very lucky to be here, very lucky to be your host. And where did this ticker come from? Yeah, very happy to be your host. And this show has been going on for over 60 episodes. And yeah, this was an honor to go to the Bitcoin conference and bring the show there to the in-person audience at the conference and live stream and show you what's been going on from inside. So here we go. Let's get into it. The recap. So we actually did get to go to the fabulous Las Vegas sign. and recorded an intro, but I don't have that footage. So you get a photo. Yeah, so day one, all right, I divided this into days to try to keep it somewhat manageable. So day one, we got to interview Mike Wilson, Maximilian, Mason Linaw, and Miss Nifty. And I'll tell you a little bit about each one of them in the next few. So first up, we have Mr. Mike Wilson. He's actually the Vegas chapter president for Stand With Crypto. So if you don't know about Stand With Crypto, go check them out, standwithcrypto.org. They basically try to help encourage people to learn about the crypto legislation in their communities. And then he specifically is a chapter president. So not only is Stand With Crypto trying to do things nationally, they're also picking people in each state to lead the charge and be like the Stand With Crypto representative in that state, to organize meetups, to meet with representatives. Mark actually told us on his interview that he got to meet with a congressman. So definitely go watch the interview if you want to learn a little bit more about how that went. And he also got to go to the White House recently and talk to, I'm not exactly sure the names of the people, but it was leaders that are working on this type of legislation. So they're doing amazing work. He was our very first person that we interviewed. After that, we had a good friend, Maximilian, who's an artist, a hacker, and a musician. And she was rocking my hat, got to share the love. Yes, that was really fun. That was a really fun interview. And she talked to us about a couple of new projects that she just launched on Bitcoin. So if you like apps or dApps, really, decentralized apps, that's a dApp. Check her out. She gives her her Twitter handle and her website during her interview. So please go check out the interview when this is done. Everything will be linked. And yeah, she's also a hacker. She's a musician. So she's also got art, like really cool art. And specifically on Bitcoin, I believe she has some Pepe Baggio art, which is Pepe and Caravaggio put together. It's a whole new artistic, identity that she has come up with, and there's a lot of really cool art that has sprung from that. So take a look. Next up, we have Mr. Mason Linaw. So he's actually the Stand With Crypto community lead, and he actually, I believe he was also the president of ATX DAO, which is a DAO that was created for people primarily in Austin. So he did that and then was handpicked to lead the community like nationwide for Stand With Crypto. So he basically goes around the country and meets with people who are interested in this type of grassroots community organizing, right? Like doing meetups in their cities or in their towns and getting people involved in like city council meetings and talking, calling representatives and just leading the charge to make things better ideally for the crypto community, because that's what we're focused on here, right? We're trying to make sure that crypto is something that we can all participate in without having all these crazy laws about how we use it. And I mean, honestly, they're doing amazing work. And Mason in particular did mention that he's looking for new chapter presidents. So they only have about 25 chapter presidents in the country so far, which means there's about 25 states that don't have chapter presidents yet. So if you're interested in this type of community organizing, if you care about law, if you care about, the new laws that are being voted on and enacted in your community or, countrywide for crypto specifically. I mean, if you're interested in general in this thing, I feel like you would, I feel like if you're interested in community organizing in general, you would qualify on some level. But specifically, if you're into crypto and community organizing, get in touch with Mason, because you might be the type of person that he's looking for to lead the charge in your state. And it's a pretty cool role, I'd say. Next up, we have Miss Nifty. She is actually the Stand With Crypto California chapter president. So we had a really stacked lineup, as you can see, day one. Miss Nifty is also all about inclusion. I remember when she was giving her kind of like her reason why she's in this, and she talks about her kids. She talks about educating like the future leaders of our world, really. She talks about making sure that people who don't always have access to resources have access to resources. Things like that, I think, are really, really important. So I really hope that all of the projects that she has are successful. I know she's already hosted several really cool events. I got a chance to actually go to her. It was called the Cali Crypto Tour scavenger hunt here in San Diego. So I got a chance to actually attend that event, and it was a great time. I would definitely go to more of her events, and I believe she's got one coming up next in New York. So stay tuned. She's also doing a lot of cool stuff here in California. Actually, I think there's an event coming up in Santa Monica. So check out her page if you are in California, because there may be an event for you to check out. All right. So next up, that was the end of day one. So Miss Nifty was our last interview of day one. Now this is day one as well, but this is in the evening. So this is the Inscribing Vegas vibe check. Okay. So after day one, in a different place, in a different venue, there was a Pizza Ninjas event called Inscribing Vegas Vibe Check. So actually, Inscribing Vegas took place during the whole day. Okay, the same day one as the Bitcoin conference. This is a whole separate event that we decided to cover because we were there and because we liked a lot of the people that were there. So this part of the night, I believe the conference was already concluded, and this was more like the after party of the Inscribing Vegas conference, which I believe was only a one-day conference. So we got a chance to go. We did a little bit of a live stream at the end of the event, and we got a chance to interview a couple of different people, and it was all very organic. We didn't actually really plan to interview people at this event. We simply were going to live stream, but it worked out really well. So the first person who hopped on our stream was Ms. Nama Pozniak, who's a leader in World War III. She leads a lot of meditations, and she's very involved in the space. I run into her at all the events, and just in our fashion, we ran into each other at this event. And she was there at the perfect time to come and say a few words. Give her a follow. She's very active, and she's an advocate for women in Web3. All right. Next up, we have Arthur from Nolcha Shows. He's actually the founder of Nolcha Shows. One moment. All right, excuse the pause. I had to plug in my computer. So, Arthur from Ultra Shows, he actually produced Inscribing Vegas and also this after party for it. So he was running around producing. He's got his mic on, as you can see. If you watch the interview, you'll hear him say, "Oh, I'm working. I'm running around," and we just pull him in for just a quick second. And but this is the guy in charge of producing a lot of the events that you see in the space. So shout out to Arthur. He's also hosted me a couple times as a performer. So yes. Next up, we have Fonz. So Fonz actually saw us live streaming and decided to, try to join. Well, we invited him. We saw him looking very interested in the setup and talking to the to the DP, and yeah, it just made sense. So I was like, come on over, let's get you on. Tell us about your project. Turns out that he works for Pizza Ninjas, who were hosting the event, and yeah, he actually gave us a little bit of alpha, which I thought was pretty cool. He said that there's going to be another collection of Pizza Pets coming out. So I don't think they'll be called Pizza Pets, but sorry, yeah, I don't think they'll be called Pizza Pets or Pizza Ninjas. I think they'll be called something else. I imagine pizza is going to be somewhere in the name. Um, but yeah, so look out for that. He said it's going to be just like at a mint price. So if you know anything about the Pizza Ninjas, they are pretty, well, expensive may be the wrong word, but they're pretty high up in price right now. So a mint price is like the equivalent of buying it like just at the regular store price, as opposed to selling it, or as opposed to buying it from like a reseller, right? So what happens in a lot of these, with a lot of these really cool collections is people buy it at a mint price. Let's say the mint price is $10, and they see that it's rising in popularity, so they turn around and sell it for $30 or 50 or 100 or 1,000, right? So the mint price is just like the very lowest price you could have gotten the NFT or the inscription for. So that's pretty much what that means. That means there's another opportunity to get into the Pizza Ninjas ecosystem. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow them. That was cool. And then it seems like they have a lot of events. He said he's actually specifically the person in charge of events. So if you like going to events, it seems like having a Pizza Ninjas token is the way to get invited to most of them. So, might be worth looking into. Next up, we have Kali Crypto. So Kali Crypto is with the West Coast Mining Hub, which is all about, Bitcoin, right? We're talking Bitcoin. Mining Hub is all about, it seems to be a community where they're pulling together resources. So you can pay a little bit to be part of the hub, and then you get rewarded in Bitcoin, I believe. Because what they're doing is they're pulling their resources to power a mining Bitcoin operation, which requires electricity, internet, space, and then like the computers, So the more resources you have, the more likely that you're gonna make more Bitcoin. And that seems to be the name of the game these days, is to make, stack Bitcoin however you can. So shout out to Kali Crypto. He's also into DPINs, RWAs, which are real world assets. And he's also a mod for Wendy O, who's a very well-known trader and key opinion leader in Web3. So shout out to Wendy. I've gotten a chance to meet her a couple times. And yeah, I guess Kali Crypto works with Wendy. That's dope. All right. So that was the end of day one, including the afterwards. Now we have day two. There's layers to this, powered by Stand With Crypto. Once again, There's Layers to This show got a partnership with Stand With Crypto for in order to go and be the live stream crew on the ground. And this is a live stream as well, but it's only a recap of what we did. So back to business. We're on day two. On day two, we had a couple things, really major things. JD Vance, who's the U.S. Vice President, he did a keynote. And then we had a couple people on our proper live stream show come on and do some interviews. So we had Chris Soriano, who's the co-founder and COO of Bridgeport, And then we had Ali Montavi, who's a blockchain founders fund. I believe he's one of the managing partners of the fund. All right. So here's just a little preview from the JD Vance keynote. Oh,
but we have plans to continue to make big progress for this industry and for the American people for life. The whole of government, we're going to need your help, we're going to need your guidance, we're going to need your encouragement.
All right. So I'm not sure if you could hear what he said. So I'll paraphrase. He said that the administration is focused on making crypto and Bitcoin a stronger industry, essentially, but that they need our help. It was actually very interesting to hear him talk about this. He said that we now more than ever, like they are very pro crypto in the current administration. They're going to try their best to pass laws that reflect that sentiment, but they need people who care about crypto, who are pro crypto, to be in the ear of their representatives. So if you're watching this, if you like crypto, if you like Bitcoin, make sure like your representatives, your local representatives know that. Also, anyone you can reach out to, yeah, make sure you're in their ear. That's one of the things that he mentioned a couple times, that we need to be vocal, otherwise they kind of just forget, because politicians have so many things going on and so many people asking them for things that we just kind of have to be a squeaky wheel and keep at it. But the sentiment in the administration is good towards crypto. So it's, we're in a good place. I'd say we're in a good place. Okay. So next up, so that was the first live stream of the day, nice and early. The second one was actually our show back in the press room. As you can see, there's a bunch of people behind us, also capturing content, interviews. So there's a lot going on that day. The first interview we had was with Chris Soriano, who's the co-founder and the COO of Bridgeport. Now, they are working on institutional crypto infrastructure. He basically wants to be like the Plaid of crypto. And if you know about Plaid, Plaid is, it's kind of like that layer between, like when you're trying to pay for something sometimes online, instead of giving the actual website your information, your credit card, your payment info, you give it to Plaid, or you sign into your Plaid account, which already has your bank info connected. So Plaid's kind of in between you and the person you're trying to pay, right? So that's kind of where they're trying to kind of insert themselves in the industry, right? They want to help that, but they want to help with like big institutional crypto stuff, not just consumer. They want to help be that middle person for big businesses wanting to interact with crypto more easily. Please watch the interview. He explains it very well. All right. Next up, we had Ali Madhavi, which I really hope I'm saying his name wrong. Right. But he was a really interesting person to interview, because he was not only one of the managing partners of Blockchain Founders Fund, which invests in Web3 companies. He also was just in the Crypto Nights show, which just premiered on Amazon Prime. So that show is about, it's essentially like a Shark Tank for Web3. So companies come, pitch their Web3 ideas, and then this panel of judges basically awards them, some sort of investment or not. So that was really cool. And as we were talking about the different companies that Blockchain Founders Fund have invested in, one of the companies that he brought up, out of hundreds, one of the companies that he brought up was Breshna. And Breshna is a company that allows you to make your own video game very easily with no code. And it turns out that I've actually used Breshna to make my own simple video game. I did that maybe 2 years ago, so it was a really funny coincidence. But not only that, I met the founder of Breshna at an event, actually at one of my most iconic events, which was the Innovation Summit put on by Paris Hilton. That I got to do the opening like ceremony for. Like the opening act was a performance. So, long story short, at that performance, I met a lot of really cool, amazing women. It was mainly women that attended this, just by design. And founders, leaders in industries, and the CEO and founder of Breshna was there at the Paris Hilton event. And I got to meet her, and she saw my performance. She loved it. We connected, and I actually learned that Paris Hilton is also an investor in Breshna. So it was really cool synchronicity to hear him bring that up, and I just want to send all my love to the Breshna team and wishing them a lot of success. And yeah, I will say one more thing about the Blockchain Founders Fund is that it sounds like they're always looking for new companies to possibly invest in. So if you have a company or an idea, you can look them up. I'm almost certain that he gave a website where you can actually send in a request for review, and they will review your company and reach out. And yeah, if it's a good fit, maybe you get some funding. So check them out. That was a really cool interview. Next up, we had Sheldon Deere from Diminity. I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but what I did learn was that he basically is part of this community, which is actually a BTC Finance hub, which is powered by Dfinity. Now, Dfinity is the foundation that runs ICP, which is the Internet Computer Protocol, which we have done a whole project with. We did an event with them, for them in New York, and so yeah, this was like a really full circle moment here. Now, last up was DJ Trax, who was actually named Carlos Fuentes, and he's actually a metaverse DJ, a live streamer, and a builder in the space. So in his interview, we talk a lot about, he talks about his family. He talks about how he does pretty much everything he does. He tries to include his wife and his son in, which I think is really, really sweet. And I actually have seen him DJ in the metaverse. Also seen his son DJ in the metaverse. And I actually got a chance to perform on his metaverse plot almost over a year ago in Decentraland. Now, that, basically that what I'm saying, in case you don't know of Decentraland, I guess I should mention, Decentraland is a metaverse that's connected to Web3. And the way that it's connected to Web3 is that it interacts with the blockchain by making your username and your whole user profile is connected to a wallet, a Web3 wallet, a crypto wallet. So that's the first time that we interacted, was in a virtual world where he owned the plot of land, metaphorical land, where an event took place, a virtual event where I performed virtually. So essentially there was like a screen showing what I was doing, but it was a screen inside a virtual space. So you're here on your computer, you're looking at this virtual space, and in that virtual space there's another screen, and on that screen was my art. Wild, layered, multi-layered, very virtual stuff. But I only mention that just to explain that you can actually meet people online, and in the most odd of place, like the most odd places, right? And maybe not odd, but just like virtual things that didn't exist a long time ago. And then you can actually do the full circle and get to meet them in real life. So just by complete accident, we got to meet. He was there doing some content with Kelly Ann, who I got to meet actually on the third day. And so he noticed my hat, recognized who I was, and introduced himself, which was amazing. We had never met in person, and then we were able to set up a quick interview. So that's the power of online connections and building your community, both IRL and URL, as they say. Okay, so once again, that was day 2. Now we're on day 3. This is There's Layers to This, powered by Stand With Crypto, day 3 of the Bitcoin conference. And we actually had Melina, who's Girl in the Verse, better known as Girl in the Verse. She came up and did a little short interview with me. So that was really cool. We also had Michael Saylor. We live streamed the keynote as well as the Ross Ulbricht keynote. So those were the closeout moments. But this was at the beginning of the day. So bright and early, I ran into Melina and we did a quick interview. This actually, as you can see, is vertical, not horizontal, because we did it on the phone. We didn't have the full team and camera and all that with there at that time, so we made it work, and you can see that live stream on my Instagram. But yeah, here we are. So Melina, better known as well, Girl in the Verse, she's actually a crypto creator. She's a women's advocate in Web3, and she used to be a news anchor, like an on-camera news anchor host, I believe in Canada, which is where she still is. And yeah, so she's got an amazing presence online. She's a complete, absolute professional and really good at what she does. So she's been out at most of the events that I've been to. We actually got a chance to do a residency together in Miami. And so, yeah, I was really happy to get a chance to get Miss Melina on the show. It's been, I don't know, maybe 3 years that I met Melina, and always beautiful energy. She's interviewed me a few times for her shows. So can't say enough. And let's see who else. Yeah, it was really nice. Like I said, the full length live stream interview with Melina is on my Instagram. I'll also live stream it here shortly so that it's also on YouTube. But yes, always beautiful to see Miss Melina. Shout out to her hubby who did our videography.
The way to wealth is through generosity. When you are successful, and you will be successful, get up every morning. You found the path first. You found the way first. You should spread good karma.
What is he saying? I'm trying to remember what he said.
Your family, your friends, your sisters, and your community.
Well, Michael Saylor
They will see that
actually
they will respect you. They will support you.
did a whole 21 step. Oh, I remember what you talked about. Okay, he did a whole 21 step like how to become wealthy seminar as his keynote, which I thought was really cool. And I remember now what clip I got. So in this clip, he talks about how being generous is actually one of the best ways to become like truly wealthy. So make sure that if you learned about Bitcoin first, you spread the wealth of knowledge and that you are generous, because it will always come back. So his 21 kind of laws for success, number 21 was this: generosity. And the last one, oh man, I wish I remembered.
And freedom. Love it when we're divided.
So this is Ross Ulbricht, and he had a keynote. I don't know if the sound is coming through, so I'm just going to explain. Ross Ulbricht was actually one of the first people to go to jail for using Bitcoin. Now, very it's a very contentious kind of thing because the reason he went was because he was operating. Well, he's the creator and operator of the Silk Road, which was a place where people could trade illegal things. It was basically like an online marketplace to trade illegal stuff, products, services, things, right? And on this website, the currency that they used was Bitcoin. So he was actually born in Austin, Texas, and he's 41. And what he was charged for was, I'm not exactly sure what he was charged for, but what I do know is that he was given double life imprisonment. That was his sentence. Like they said, you're going to be here without the possibility of parole for being the creator and operator of the Silk Road, even though we won't get into the details. So that's the backstory. Now, back in January this year, Donald Trump actually pardoned him. And that is why we're seeing Ross on stage giving the keynote at Bitcoin Las Vegas. So Trump actually was one of the platforms that he ran on during the election was pardoning Ross Ulbricht. So the way that he got a lot of the crypto voters to vote for him, not myself included, the way that he got a lot of people to vote for him was by promising to pardon Ross, who a lot of people look at as like a pioneer of Bitcoin, of getting Bitcoin to be used and getting to the value that it has right now, because he gave Bitcoin a utility more than anything. Now, whether you agree with what he was doing or what was going on is totally fair, but this is why people like Ross and why they support him. And not just that, but I believe on the last day of the conference, he received a Bitcoin donation. Yeah, I believe he got $31 million donated to him about 3 days ago. Yeah, 6 days ago. So 300 Bitcoin were sent to Ross's wallet. 300 Bitcoin, which is estimated value about $31 million. And it came from a donation, an anonymous donation. So people, people are really, really pro Ross these days. I can't tell you if I'm pro, but I am happy that, that at least this platform that the president ran on was, that it was completed, that it was followed through on. So yeah, Ross actually was the last person to speak at the conference. So this was like the ending keynote of Bitcoin. So it was an interesting time. It was an interesting time. Next up, I just wanted to share a couple of the people that I got to see while I was in Bitcoin Vegas. This is pretty much the last of it. So I got to see, well, of course, Miss Maximilian. And while we were walking around on day 3, we ran into Nama again, who you saw earlier on the show. So I ran into her once more. I think we saw each other about 3 times in passing. Then I also got to see Miss Jimena Buenavida, who's an amazing artist in the space. We saw Aventurine, who I've met before. He's also a leader in the space, working with the tech, working with artists, and absolutely Miss Maximilian. She actually posted this, GM. and tagged all of us. And of course, I can't forget the guy in the middle is Mr. Gary Cardone, who is a proponent of Bitcoin, very big proponent of Bitcoin. And also, if you recognize the real estate investor, Grant Cardone, they look almost identical. They're brothers. So we ran into him at the conference, and he was gracious enough to take a selfie with all of us. That was pretty cool. But yeah, total chance encounter. Next up, I want to give a big shout out to Miss Yonda Ye Williams. She actually met me on day 3 in the press lounge. She was hanging out with our dear friend Astrid, Kellyanne, and one other amazing lady whose name is escaping me right now. But Yonda introduced herself and actually told me that she was a long-time supporter of my art. And yeah, it was a really beautiful interaction. And I realized that we were both following each other already on Twitter. We went to look each other up, and we were already following each other. So this is another URL connection that I made a while back. I can't even tell you when exactly we started following each other. But yeah, she saw me, recognized me, and said hello. So here's our first photo together, forever on the timeline. Yeah, that was really cool. And we got a chance to hang out a little bit more there in the press room. And then we went to a event together briefly, but we did go. And actually on the way there, we had a little bit of a car, small collision in the parking lot, actually. Not her fault at all. Someone was just very impatient to get out of the parking lot. So we've gone through it. I feel like we had a whole adventure, and yeah, it was really cool to meet her. Definitely a meeting I won't forget. And then we also had a chance to go together to the Mandalay Bay. So that's the event that I just mentioned. We got a chance to go and support our friend Astrid with the Women in Bitcoin initiative, which is a new nonprofit, which brought 100 women to this conference. So they got 100 tickets, and they brought as many women as they could to experience the Bitcoin conference thanks to them. So shout out to them. We figured we got to go support, so we did. And then the last person that I want to shout out, which has been mentioned already, but Girl in the Verse, Melina. She actually posted this really cool recap of a lot of selfies and just group photos that she took with all the women out there. So mine's down here from day 3. And yeah, it's always a joy, like I said, to see Miss Melina out there at the events. We've run into each other more times than I can remember. So yes, always a pleasure to see her. I hope to see everybody who I saw in Vegas, to see you again, maybe in New York, which is the next big event we have. Yeah, oh, that's the end of our slide. That's the end. This is the end of the recap. All right. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the recap. There's a lot of things that we got a chance to do that didn't make it into the recap, because if I added everything into the recap, this would be a 3-hour long show. So with that, I will leave you with that, and tune in next week. We will be doing some announcements. There was a giveaway that we are still tallying up the numbers. So if you commented, retweeted, subscribed, all those things, yeah, stay tuned for next week when we announce those winners. But for now, this has been the There's Layers to This Bitcoin Conference recap powered by Stand With Crypto. Don't forget to go to standwithcrypto.org and take the pledge. It's really a pledge just to be informed and to vote for pro crypto legislation whenever you can. So, pretty easy, pretty straightforward, pretty important though, and impactful. So make sure you do that. Make sure you stay hydrated and stay safe out there, folks. Have a happy Sunday.